How much is the new Broncos training facility going to cost? Welcome into your Denver Sports Daily for May 30th. Let's go.
Taking you through your morning headlines, it's Denver Sports Daily with Rachel Vigil.
The Denver Broncos announced plans for a new $175 million training facility. You heard that right. $175 million. The Walton Penner Group definitely does not say we're not spending any pretty pennies, because they will in fact do that. The new facility will replace the 30-year-old training facility in Inglewood, which newly features. The facility will include expanded locker rooms, sports performance areas, and meeting rooms. It will be 3 stories and 205,000 square feet. The training facility will feature 320,000 total square feet of buildings, and construction of the new facilities begin after preseason. And fans will still have an up-close view of the training camp during preseason. Broncos also yesterday renamed their training facility to Broncos Park, powered by Common Spirit. We talked about this on Coffee Break yesterday. Some people don't hate the name. Personally, I don't hate it. Broncos Park, it's kind of just easy to go with. And again, they're on Broncos Parkway, so it just kind of flies off the tongue a little bit, but I'll probably still end up calling it Dove Valley more often than not. And I know a lot of fans also feel the exact same way. There will also be that connection between the new facility and the current Pat Bowlen Fieldhouse. And then construction for this, like I said, is supposed to begin after preseason and end in 2026. So really, really cool. $175 million. It's going to look beautiful by the time it's all said and done. And I can't wait to hopefully bring you guys along for some of that construction and behind the scenes as we get to go out to Broncos. The Vikings are bringing back veteran guard Dalton Ryner on a 1-year deal. Ryner started 11 games for the Vikings last year after 4 seasons with the Broncos. He's expected to compete with Blake Brandel for the starting left guard spot, but now the question is, what should the Vikings do at quarterback? Should they start J.J. McCarthy right away, or should they go with Sam Darnold to start the year? Not exactly sure what they're going to end up doing. I personally am all about throwing in the rookie QB. You drafted him early. Take him, see what he can do out there, and then see how Dalton Ryner can compete with Blake over there and which quarterback he'll be protecting. We always love to see Dalton Ryner obviously doing good. There was so much love for him here in Broncos country, so we wish him the very, very best. I know him and his wife actually sold their house here in Colorado, so they look to move on for sure. Heading over to the NBA now, it is official. Bronny James is headed to the NBA. The oldest son of LeBron James will remain in the NBA draft and forego the rest of his NCAA eligibility. According to his agent, Rich Paul, the 19-year-old James played 1 season for USC, averaging 4.8 points per game. After experiencing a cardiac arrest during a team workout last summer, he's projected as a second-round pick, but of course, it's possible a team will snatch him up earlier in hopes of luring LeBron as a free agent. This entire thing just feels so weird to me. And I mentioned this before, but if I'm Bronny James, I don't want some team to take me and just in hopes that they'll take my dad or my dad will also come play for him. I'm sure it'd be really cool to play with your dad for a season, but also everyone just look at you as the little James. I just can't find this any way attractive. And I'm just I just don't like it. So let me know how you feel. Would you be cool to see both of the James on one team together? And how would you like that? I'm very, very curious to know. Heading over to golf now, though, because it looks like Scotty Sheffler has managed to dodge a major legal bullet. A Kentucky judge on Wednesday dismissed all charges against the golfer after prosecutor Mike O'Connell told his office could not move forward in the prosecution of the charges filed against Mr. Sheffler. Reacting to the decision, Scheffler's attorney, Steve Romies, told reporter he's glad it's over. He wants to move on. Sheffler was arrested on May 17th after an altercation with a police officer who was directing traffic outside the golf course. If you saw the video on it, it's a little sketchy. It definitely doesn't seem like there was a massive altercation and somebody got dragged by the car. This video, of course, was from across the street, so it's not very up close and personal, but if I'm going to be honest, I'm not surprised these charges got dropped at all. I don't know. The whole situation was very, very strange. And we saw all the breaking news alerts all the time going across our phones with everything. But essentially, Scotty was afraid he was going to miss his tee time at the 2024 PGA Championships and reportedly demanded to be let in before he dragged and knocked down the officer, according to the police report. Again, if you watch the video, you don't really see any of that happen. So again, not surprised that this is getting dropped whatsoever. Moving back to the NFL now, because Justin Fields, do we remember the strange rumor that came across this offseason that the Steelers plan to use him on kick returns? Indeed, that was a conversation that was happening. And at Steelers OTAs this week, Fields laughed off the idea. He said, "Nah, I'm not here to do that. It was kind of a joke, to be honest with you." And earlier this year, running back Jaden Warren said that the Steelers special teams coach, Danny Smith, had floated the idea of using Fields on kickoff, which will be very different this year under the new rules designed to create more returns. Of course, this also kind of goes back to last year. We all remember when Sean Payton was talking about Pat Surtain possibly doing kicks. And yeah, there was like a lot of drama with that of, like, why would you put one of your best players out there? Pat Surtain makes a little bit more sense than Justin Fields, a quarterback, does. But regardless, I don't think we're going to be seeing any of those guys returning kicks. Fields was obviously acquired in a trade with the Bears in March and will enter training camp as Russell Wilson's backup. I also saw a story this morning about Russell Wilson, and tell me if this sounds familiar. Him and Justin Fields took their offensive line members out to dinner. I remember when Russell Wilson did that here in Denver, so it just feels like there's a bit of a common courtesy that Russell Wilson tends to do. Got to take that line out and warm him up a little bit to him too. So Russell Wilson, again, just definitely making a name for himself out there in Pittsburgh nowadays. How are you feeling about the whole Russell Wilson situation? Are you over it? Are you done with it? Or do you still kind of care about what he's up to? Let me know in the comments. Kansas City Chiefs defensive tackle Isaiah Buggs has 2 warrants out for his arrest for alleged animal cruelty in Alabama. Police received information about dogs being left on the back porch of a home rented by Buggs. Neighbors said Buggs moved out of the home on March 19th, and Tuscaloosa Animal Control reportedly found 2 dogs without access to water or food on the back porch. One dog was free on the back porch, which was screened, but one was in a metal cage in direct sunlight. Both dogs were severely malnourished, emancipated, and neglected, and one had to be euthanized. A neighbor claims the dogs have been left on the porch for at least 10 days. Moving over to the NHL now, the Edmonton Oilers rallied with 5 straight goals to defeat the Dallas Stars 5-2 in Game 4 of the Western Conference Finals on Wednesday. Evan Bokar, Lionel Draisaitl, Matthias Ekholm, Matthias Janmark, and Ryan McLeod scored for the Oilers. The best of 7 series is tied 2-2, and Game 5 will be in Dallas on Friday. Plenty of good stuff, good hockey over there in the NHL playoffs, Stanley Cup playoffs. So plenty of good stuff. Make sure you tune in to all of that. I'm finally getting back into it, everybody. Took a minute, but I'm like, okay, I need to start watching all of these games again. Feel like my heartbreak, it's been healed a little bit, so got to get back into it for sure. Now, 3 days after dispatching the NL leading Philadelphia Phillies over Memorial Day weekend by taking 2 of the 3 games, the Rockies completed a series win over the AL pacing Cleveland Guardians. There were strong pitching performances by Ty Blanc and Tyler Kingley, and then Brendan Rodgers' impactful 2-run home run helped the Rockies win. They've gone 12 of 7 in their last 19, which they have a sweep of the World Series champs, and they have a winning record versus winning teams, but obviously, we can't ignore starting 8-28 killed their entire season, and to be honest, any legitimate interest in the team. But the Rockies, they're getting a little hot right now, everybody. Buckle up. We can see what they're going to be able to do now going into almost the middle of the season, in a sense. So, and then last one, I always like to share something funny. And of course, this one is funny. Every Celtics fan is hoping Boston can win the NBA title this year, but none more so than Jack Benouv. That's because 2 years ago, on a dare from a friend, he got a tattoo that read Boston Celtics 2022 World Champions. The Celtics lost to the Warriors in the finals that year, but the 20-year-old Benouv is excited to update his ink and the C's to hopefully pull it off this year. Just don't expect him to make the same mistake twice. He wants to actually wait for them to win this time because I know if I get it off 4 and then we lose in the finals, he doesn't think anyone will ever see him again, which I would definitely agree with. I'm not somebody personally who I think would jump at getting a tattoo beforehand, but hey, anything for a bet I can see people doing. The Celtics will face either the Mavs or the Timberwolves in the 2024 NBA Finals. And then last one actually for you, because this is breaking news just coming out. 2 members of the first Super Bowl team are headed into the Broncos Ring of Fame. So congratulations to Steve Foley and Riley Odoms on being elected to the Broncos Ring of Fame as well. You guys, plenty of good stuff. This can be a quick show because I got to head out to Broncos. The filming period for all of you guys is going to be starting here in roughly 20 minutes, and I'm about a 15-minute drive away. So it's going to be really, really quick. Love this, though. I'm a Lakers fan, and James needs to go. Don't bring his son, my opinion. I feel bad for Bronny James. Like, everything you do is about your dad, and I feel like you want to create your own legacy. But maybe that's like a little chip on his shoulder, and he feels that way. Both Jameses playing together would be an ESPN dream, and the rest of us would just be watching a team tank for a good pick. That's probably a very, very true statement. Good morning, Rachel. Good morning. Thank you for spending just a little bit of time with me here on this lovely Thursday. Time for Broncos country to move on from Russell Wilson and get behind QB Bo Nix as our franchise quarterback. I do think people are behind Bo Nix. It's going to be interesting to see how all three of the quarterbacks look today. Will Bo Nix be with the starters? That's what I'm going to be paying attention to. Like I've said multiple times before, Sean Payton is very intentional with every single thing he does. So if it's Bo Nix today in front of the media once again, it's not going to surprise me at all if he could possibly be the starter week 1. There's plenty of weeks to go until we see that. But like I said, Sean Payton is very, very intentional. But I'm going to run to get out to practice. Make sure you tune in. Coffee break today. We're going to be going over everything from last week, recapping OTAs, all the big names, and then what we're looking for this week, of course, with OTAs. But love you guys so much, and we will see you later. Get back to work. Bye.